All right.
Okay, so whether you're married or not, we're pretty much all familiar with the idea of marriage. Maybe we know someone who's married, we've been to a wedding. So today I want to convince you not to get married until you're at least 25, and I want to talk about the benefits to both the institution of marriage and to the individual as well when you wait to get married. So according to the National Center for Healthcare Statistics, approximately 60% of marriages end in divorce when you marry between 20 and 25. And so today I'm going to cover what goes on before you're 25 years old. I'm going to cover the societal pressures that goes on of getting married young. I want to talk about a psychologist, Erik Erikson, his personal development of finding your own identity, and I want to talk about marital satisfaction. So before you're 25 years old, basically you're discovering yourself. You're discovering the joys and the heartaches of being in a relationship. You're discovering what you want in life. You're discovering who's a good fit for me, what's compatible, and you're discovering all those things and before you're 25. So I have a quote from Jennifer Nagy. She is a public relations professional. She shared in her testimony, "Because we started dating at such a young age, he was marrying someone who had no idea who she was and what she wanted in life. It was a recipe for divorce." So basically she is a part of the statistic, and she got married before she was 25, and it's kind of one of those things like you look back and it's like in hindsight I should have done this, should have, would have, could have type of thing, and so she's fully admitting that and realizes it after the fact. The second thing I want to talk about is societal pressure. I think we can all agree that society pretty much pressures us into getting married like young, or like when you find the one or the soulmate, when really we should be able to have an idea of self before we have an idea of us with anybody. And what that means is you have to find your identity and like know who you are, like before you can really like have a successful marriage, I guess. So what I'm trying to say is when you're 20 to 25, you're still like in school, like trying to like figure out things. But when you're 25 to 30, you have more mature, maybe balance of things. So I have a quote from Deborah Lermit. She has 4 children and 2 stepchildren. She married at 19 and got divorced 15 years later. She says, "It's better to wait. You get to experience life and know yourself better, and hopefully choose someone more compatible once you become your own person as an adult." So it's going back to just getting to know yourself and finding your identity. And then that leads us to vital qualities that are in a marriage. I'm not married, but this is just what I researched. Define emotional support, growth as a couple, and sacrifice of self. So define emotional support is pretty straightforward. You got to be able to be there for the person, and you have sympathy, you got to have empathy, you got to have compassion, and just not only be there for them physically, but emotionally as well. Growth as a couple, you're going to have disagreements, you're going to have your own strengths and weaknesses. You got to be able to fight through those things and work through it. I believe if you're under 25, you're going to like struggle more with that. So if you're 25 to 30, late 20s, early 30s, you're going to have more like maturity like level on that. Sacrifice of self is a part of the commitment of marriage. I couldn't really picture myself fully sacrificing for someone right now. I'm 19, almost 20. Like, I just think if you're 25 to 30, like I said, you will be able to work through it better and not only grasp the concepts of these, but apply them to your life. Erik Erikson, the psychologist I mentioned in my intro, he has a theory. And his theory emphasizes the importance of developing one's own identity before moving on to the stages of intimacy. So our identity refers to like our decisions, our actions, what happens in our life that make us who we are, and our values, and they pretty much guide the person we are today. And he also mentions that you have to have strong relationships with the people around you. You have to be able to have strong friendships or strong relationships with your brothers or uncles or your siblings, and because if you can't do that, you're going to struggle with having an intimate relationship with somebody else. So I agree with him there. And then yesterday in sociology, we learned about marital satisfaction. And basically what that is that measures the happiness of your marriage. And every marriage has it, whether it's your first one, whether it's your 5th one. Like, you're going to experience it no matter what age and what marriage. And it's basically you visualize like a U, and there's 3 points on the U. And so you have the top, which is like honeymoon stage, everything's good for about like a year, and then it like goes down a little bit. And this is maybe when kids come in, buying a house, traveling, finances start to like flare up a little bit. And then there's the third point, which is it goes back up. That's when like the kids move out, empty nest type thing. But I'm gonna focus on the midlife crisis, which is when the kids, that second point, and that's when you know, you have in-laws, you have finances coming, kids, and you have all these responsibilities. And I believe if you're before 25, you're not going to be able to work through those things as well as if you're like 25 to 30. And like I can't imagine having all that pressure right now, plus school and plus everything else. So that's why I wanted to incorporate that in what I was saying today. And so in conclusion, like pretty much the life expectancy on the average for a man is, I think I read it was like 79 or something, 78, and for women it's 81. So people think I'm running out of time, I'm getting too old, when really when you're 25 to 30, you're only 30% of your life complete about. So if you want to have a successful marriage, a healthy one, and you want to have, you're my last and you're my first one, then you're married 25 to 30. Thank you.
Drea, what did you think?
Well, I think you had like good eye contact and stuff. Like I like your opening, and I feel like you like project your voice really well, and so you have good eye contact up there. I like how you had like a lot of statistics or like evidence, so it's not just on what you think, or so you had a lot of evidence that showed your points, and I feel like you did kind of say like I believe or I think a lot. So. Overall, I think it was really good.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the I think, I believe things. I just want to make sure that you back them up a little bit more. I thought perhaps the first few sections you depend on a couple of examples, and the idea of the examples is good because it gives us a way to understand the subject and gives us an emotional connection to them, but I'm looking for some statistical information to go along with this, or some authority that backs up this position. So you've got, for example, in the middle of the speech, the woman who talks about, she got married young, she had, divorced after 15 years, she's got 2 kids of her own, 2 stepkids, that sort of thing. And she says, if only, I'd established my identity more. And I'm going, well, where was she at the stage that she got married? What's the age at which people establish their identity? You say it's 25, and I'm going, well, how do you know that? And there's research that talks about how people reach maturity in their mid-20s. Their brain starts functioning a particular way. The whole thing that Erickson's talking about, this identity idea, I didn't hear any information in the quotes from Erickson that was specific to that age area. They were mostly about, like you said, the theory about the self-identity and that kind of thing. And I'm going, okay, well, a lot of people might establish their self-identity earlier in their life, and so why would they want to wait if they had the opportunity to begin their life younger, if they feel like they've got that self-identity thing going? And how do you know? That's the other thing that comes up. How do you know when you are in that situation that you've got that together and you have found who you are and what you want from a relationship, those kinds of things? That seemed to me like it was just not as well developed as it needed to be. And you were so certain at the beginning about the particular age, so I think I need to have a little bit more information about why that age is the key issue. So that's the main issue that I have with the reasoning that's going on in the speech. The presentation I think is very solid. You do a good job, excellent audience contact, and you're using your voice fine, so I don't have any problems with that. It's just the data. I do think that you could have something that's a little bit more interesting to get our attention at the beginning of the speech. Your point of view is clear. You outline stuff pretty well for us, so the structural stuff is good. But I think I need something to hook me in a little bit more emotionally. I like the exit. I thought the summary at the end was a pretty good way of visualizing what you're talking about, but I think you needed something a little more dynamic at the beginning of the speech.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.